Have you ever visited a place and felt like you were grieving a life you never lived? I follow people who notice things I would have walked past. Today, that leads me to a university campus outside Tokyo. There is a library there, I'm told. The architecture is worth the trip. I don't ask myself how it will feel to go back to that kind of place. I should have. I'm a lecturer. I've been one for years now. Universities are my natural habitat, or at least they are supposed to be. The corridors, the classrooms, the particular kind of silence in a building full of people who are trying to think. I know that world from the inside. But I'm about to walk into one as a stranger, as someone passing through. And I don't realize it until I'm already on the train, how differently that feels. There is something about moving through a familiar world as an outsider. You notice things you stopped seeing years ago. Tama Sakai is quiet in a way that Tokyo isn't. It's the kind of quiet that has texture. You can feel it in the width of the streets, in the hills, in the way the trees grow right up the edges of things. Like they were there first and the city just built itself around them. I walk slowly. I'm not in a hurry. And I think part of me already knows that the walk itself is the thing. The pavements are clean and uneven in places. There are almost no people. And I keep thinking about the person who takes this route every day. Who knows which corner has a good vending machine? Who has a favorite bench in the park? Who does this so many times is stopping beautiful to them? I always do this. I inhabit other people's ordinary lives for a few minutes. And then I feel something I can't quite name. Envy isn't the right word. It's softer than that. More like wonder or wishing. And then the campus opens in front of me. I've walked into a lot of universities. It's literally my job. But this one does something to me I'm not ready for. The architecture is serious and beautiful. And something quiet and a little embarrassing starts happening in my chest. I start imagining my life here. I push open the door and I just stand there. I grew up in a small town in Portugal, and for a stretch of years when I was young, things at home were hard. The kind of hard that doesn't announce itself loudly. It just sits in every room of the house and changes the quality of the air. I didn't have language for it then. I just knew I needed somewhere to go where I could breathe differently. The library was that place. I would go and sit and read or study, and for those hours, I was just a person in a room full of books. Nothing else was required of me. Nobody needed anything. Nothing was wrong. It was the first place I learned that peace could be chosen, that you could walk into it. I've never fully stopped needing that. There's a scene in Beauty and the Beast I've thought about my whole life. Belle lives in a small town. She loves parts of it, but she can't stop reading. She can't stop wanting to know what's on the other side of the story she's already in. And that was me. Books first, then other people's stories, then travel, then standing in a library in Japan, feeling the exact same hunger I felt at 10 years old. Some things in you don't change, they just find bigger rooms. This library is one of the most beautiful I've ever been in. And I don't just mean the architecture, I mean the feeling, the specific gravity of a place that takes knowledge seriously. I walk through it slowly, and I feel the way I always feel in libraries. Simultaneously very small and completely held. I stay longer than I mean to. That's always how I know a place gets to me. Outside, I let myself do something I find a little hard to admit. I imagine teaching here, not as a fantasy, not seriously, just as a feeling I let myself have. Walking these paths, knowing I have a class at 10, recognizing a student from last semester, having a coffee somewhere on this campus, and knowing it is mine in the ordinary sense, not visited, but mine. I know I'm not moving to Japan. That is not what this is about. But I've spent a lot of my life not letting myself feel things that aren't going to become plans. And I've been trying to stop doing that. A feeling doesn't have to go anywhere. It can just be true for an afternoon. I think about my own students. The ones who tell me they're going on an Erasmus or doing an exchange somewhere. Packing their life into 2 suitcases and starting over in a language they're still learning. I always feel something when they tell me that. Something that looks like pride, but is also, honestly, a little bit of recognition. Because I know what that does, how it reaches in and rearranges you. How you come back different and can fully explain it to anyone who hasn't done it. I wanted that for myself once. I think part of me still does. The walk back is slower than the walk there. Not because I'm tired, because I'm full. That specific kind of full that happens when a day gives you more than you ask for. And you need to carry it carefully. Nothing spectacular happens today. I want to be clear about that. I walk to a library in a city outside Tokyo. I stand inside it for a while. I walk around the campus, think about my life, and then I walk back. But this is the thing I keep trying to say with these reflections. I'm not sure I always landed. It's not about the place, it's about what the place unlocks. Some days you travel and you come back with photographs. Other days you come back with something that shifts slightly inside you and takes weeks to settle. This is one of those days. I get on the train. I sit and I think about Belle, reading in a small town, dreaming through borrowed worlds. For a long time, I thought that was a consolation prize, the thing you do when you can't have the real thing. I don't think that anymore. The dreaming was always the real thing.